everybody. Michael from Spades Consulting, and we are going to talk about Venezuela, Colombia, and the UN, apparently. All right, so right off the top, the action that the U.S. has taken in Venezuela is less so about actually getting the job done and more so about deeper political messaging. All right. The U.S. is not going to play nice anymore. Of course, we're going back to Monroe Doctrine, especially because we are up against a growing BRICS in Eurasia project that is slowly tightening the noose when it comes to rare earth materials. All right. Again, silver is being produced, 70% of the silver production is coming out of China, which is kind of problematic, especially when you tie in the fact that most of the rise of the silver price outside of, investment and military demand and AI hardware, of course, um, you also have to look at the fact that the Chinese are in terms licensing silver and preventing it from leaving. Okay. And that has moved up. Now, given silver did drop back down from 80 to 70 some dollars an ounce, and that I think is going to be short lived, mostly because quietly, well, less so quietly, China and India are both offering 8 to 12, 8 to 16. I forget what the exact number was, but they're offering $8 plus over spot to buy directly from any other miners that they can. Okay? They're trying to dry up the supply entirely and draw it to them. All right. Now, of course, this this could lead to technical market failure. Um, just because, I mean, why would you sell at 70 now when you can sell to China for 80 or India for 80? Anyway, back to the point. How the hell do we deal with the lack of rare earth? We roll in the Monroe Doctrine. We start sucking up Venezuelan oil. We start sucking up oil in general. Essentially, the United States is going to reconquest all of South America. All right. And it's either going to do it nicely, Argentina style, with nice deals, or it's going to be done Venezuela style. All right. Colombia going to the UN Security Council to cry about what the U.S. did in Venezuela. Believe me, I get it. The idea that your national sovereignty has an asterisk attached to it, kind of problematic. All right. It doesn't matter what you say, it matters what whoever is in charge of Washington says. All right. Obviously, it is an attack on the rights of every individual in every country that might draw American attention. But the reality is, Colombia, do you want to be next? All right. Because outside of the fun white powder, you might have some rare earths too. And Brazil, you remember all those soybeans that you sold to China? Well, as it so happens, China isn't buying American soybeans anymore. So, since China doesn't want the U.S. to be able to get a reasonable amount of silver to fund its AI projects and military projects, and to a certain extent, green energy, and its own national chip production, those soybeans you sold, well, guess what? There are soybeans now. That's what's going to happen. All right. That is the trajectory that we're on. If China isn't going to allow us certain rare earths, we'll just cut off their food supply. We'll cut off their soybeans. We'll cut off anything possible that would come out of South America, and we will kick China out of having any business interest, any national interest in South America. All right. This is a prelude to war. All right. This is a prelude to all out war. War is always a game of resources. And whilst in the globalized world, there was a reasonable sharing of these resources, certain resources are just too sparse. All right, just like the mines in Africa that are quietly under control of the American government, NGOs, doesn't matter. Rare earths are going to be an increasing need. All right, it is a critical dependency. All right, whether it's higher technology, whether it's military needs, whether it's anything, AI, any of it. All right, we need access to rare earth. If we can't get nascent rare earth mines set up for Western demands, then we do have access to cutting off supply lines for things that China can't necessarily get a hold of too easily. All right. China's got a big population, whether you believe the numbers or not. They do go through a whole hell of a lot of food, just like any other country. But China and India, they both have a very large population. That very large population needs food and medicine and everything else, although India makes a whole hell of a lot of U.S. medicine, as well as China, but that's going to change. The UN, just to attack the concept of it, whatever the hell that was, the UN, just to attack the concept of it, is largely a joke. It's just like the League of Nations. Everybody already knows that when it comes to the United Nations, it's just whatever the U.S. wants, the U.S. gets. All right. There was temporarily this song and dance that it'd be different, but the reality is, just based on the monetary aspects alone, what the U.S. demands, it gets. All right. The idea of a Security Council, the idea that all of the countries can come together and work together, all right, and not be at odds for one reason or another, it's a joke. It's a joke. All right. After all, the reality is the UN might put foreign troops into disaster areas and quote unquote help countries, but it's always to American interests. All right. It's a song and dance. It's not even worth paying attention to. And honestly, I think I'll end it there. I gotta see what the hell was crackling. Honestly, there has been quite a lot of snow and ice lately, so could just be that. Regardless, I will see you guys in the next one. This has been Michael from Spades Consulting. Check out spadesconsulting.com. Check out the Substack. And check back here occasionally when I do videos. I don't know how often I'm going to be doing videos going forward, as I do have a slightly bigger project in the works. Perfect way to start the new year. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time.